Hey there! In this video, we're diving into Pronto to show you how to start communicating with your students, how to customize your settings to fit your needs, and manage them moving forward. We'll be sharing some pro tips along the way and end with next steps to help integrate Pronto with your classes. For Canvas, Pronto can be found inside the global nav housed in the LMS dashboard here. And clicking it will produce a widget with your available class chats. For Blackboard, to set up a chat for a class, we'll first go to our class, and from the classroom, we can hit this button here and create a tool link. Give that chat a name, select Pronto here, and then select Available to Users. Once it's in our tool list, it will be available for our class to access. Now let's walk through the message setup. We'll expand the window so we can see everything. Courses are stored in the panel over here in what is known as your drawer, while everything front and center will be your chat for the class selected. We can see here that there are categories, and nested within those, there are individual groups. Categories are made automatically when you make your courses and will put in your students' names as well as adopt the course name. In addition to these categories, we can also see any student groups that have been created and that we're a part of. If there's a particular group chat that we interact with frequently, we can pin it and Pronto will move it to the top of our drawer under Pinned, making it easier to find. Inside each class chat or group will be a space for us to type out our messages, along with the option to attach documents and emojis. When sending out the first message, we recommend showing a little personality with an image or GIF. This could be showcasing your favorite quote, show, book, food, you name it. Make it fun! We'll keep it simple and start with a welcome message alongside a question to kickstart engagement. Hovering here will give us a few options to help manage our messages. Hitting reply will create a thread under the original message so we can add more context if needed or answer a question. If we needed to get the group's attention in the chat, we can @mention everyone so that they'll get notified. This also works if we needed to respond to a specific individual within a conversation. We just want to make sure to @mention the student's name instead. If we wanted to share the message we wrote with more than just one of our classes, we'd select the forward feature and choose the class we want to forward it to from the pop-up window. That way, we're not recreating the same message over and over. Pronto will do the messenger work for us. As messages come in from students, to keep the engagement going, we encourage students to add reactions to responses in the chat. This not only makes the conversation more interactive, but it surfaces common interests across your students and provides an indicator on the personality of the class as a whole. If we happen to make a mistake, no sweat. We can easily make edits here. One of our favorite messaging features is the read receipts. This gives us a clear view on who has and who hasn't seen our message. So if we're consistently seeing the same students in this category of not seen, we can be proactive and reach out to them to better understand what's happening. These are also helpful for validation purposes. If we were to answer a question, we'd be able to make sure that the student got the support they needed. And finally, we have the ability to delete messages, including student messages. This comes in handy if a comment was deemed inappropriate or not relevant to the topic. So we know how to send a message to the group, but what if we wanted to send a direct message to someone? From the action menu here, we can hit direct message and then type in a student's name. Or filter the different classes to help us find a student. Another way to send a direct message is by clicking on the profile picture of a student from within the group thread and then hit the message button. Looking at this window here, you'll see there is an option to block a user. And while we hope no one needs to use that feature, it's there for the protection of you and your other students if needed. Now that we know how to create chats, let's make sure we can manage those settings effectively. We can find our general settings here. We recommend establishing what you'd want your default notification to be in order for you to maintain a healthy life-work balance. Here, we can set specific timeframes for silencing notifications. Students will be able to see when you're active online by this green light indicator here. We recommend hitting the Do Not Disturb if you're active online but don't want to be interrupted. This is also where we can set our language and translation preferences. We can establish our notification preferences here for all of our classes at once, or we can manage the specific needs for individual groups here. Customizing notification settings for specific group chats and direct messages will override the general settings you've set. This comes in handy if we've set notifications to be more quiet, but we know a group was struggling and we'd like to keep an eye on how things are progressing. So we'll customize that group chat to notify us when all messages are sent. If we want to reset the override for a group to the general settings, we'll just hit the X button here in the general settings view. We can also manage individual and group message preferences within the settings of the specific chats found here. This space will also offer a media repository of photos, videos, links, files, and meetings that we've had with a group or with a student here, making it easier to filter and locate information we have shared in the past. Now that we've covered some basics, let's run through next steps and best practices for integrating Pronto into your class smoothly. Make sure you can find Pronto in your LMS. Make Pronto part of your syllabus. Think about the expectations you'd like to set for your classes, how you'd plan on using Pronto, and outline them in your syllabus. Make sure to include times when you'll be available for messaging, office hours, and so on. Get students set up and active in the first week of classes. Make downloading the app and writing an introduction message as part of the first class assignments for your students. This ensures that everyone has the same access and is becoming familiar with how to use it from the very beginning. Our favorite way to share the app with students is through a QR code. Flash this on the board or include it in the syllabus. Really, anywhere you know your students will see it. We've come to find that students are more responsive when the app is on their phones versus them accessing it from the LMS. Try creating messages in Pronto on your own. Go to your general settings and customize your notification settings and select your preferred language. Complete this Getting Started video series by watching the next video where we'll talk about holding live sessions with students. Well, that about wraps up this video. If you have any questions about the features covered here, make sure to check out Pronto's help resources, and we'll see you in the next video.